Now in the last couple of years we have seen some fantastic releases from the guys at Team G.O.A.T. One of my personal favourites is the Kagama 6S. That is a beast of a truck, and if you're into doing backflips with your RC trucks, well, that is the one to go for. Now what we haven't seen from Team G.O.A.T. is a short course truck. Well, that's all about to change because there's a new one and it's 6S capable. It's known as the Shiroi, and looking at the trailers, it looks absolutely epic. Now the good news is I have one, and today we're going to take a closer look. So let's just get straight into it. Brand new from Team G.O.A.T. This is their 6S Shiroi. So brand new from Team G.O.A.T. Here we have their new 6S Shiroi. I find that a very cool and interesting name. Now Team G.O.A.T. have been kind enough to send me the red version of this, but you can also get this in other colours, and here they are on the box. You can also get this in green and in blue. So initial impressions, well look, this thing does look epic. It's about time we see a short course truck from the guys at Team G.O.A.T. And looking at the other options out there, I do think this is one of the best looking short course trucks we've seen in a while. I do like these a lot. Now at first I thought these are going to be coming off, but now I've got the truck here in person, these feel really thick and strong. I don't think they're going to be coming off anytime soon. I am loving all of the scale detail on this. Yeah, Team G.O.A.T. have definitely put the effort in to make this truck look as good as possible. This thing even has a full interior. So let's have a look at some of the other features on this then. Now of course we've got roof skids up on top. We've got the usual Team G.O.A.T. body clips with the clip retainers. Up at the front of course we've got a very strong front bumper, and then of course a very strong rear bumper as well. So let's take the body off and take a closer look underneath. There's a closer look at the rear bumper. Now this thing is incredibly strong. That is definitely going to take some hits. And then of course the front bumper again, it's the same story, incredibly strong. So initial impressions under the body, well look, this thing looks a lot like the other 6S cars in the range. I do believe this is using a Kagama 6S chassis, and then I'm pretty sure a lot of the suspension components and the arms, they're from the Spark buggy. Now you may be thinking, hang on a minute, well if they've just pinched parts from some of the other trucks, what's the point of this? Now the fact that this thing shares so many spares with the other cars in the range, that's actually a really good thing because finding spares is going to be easy. Yeah, you can definitely tell that a lot of components were shared from the Kagama on this one. Now obviously on this we have the plastic side guards, and yes, these are new, but everything else pretty much looks exactly the same, including the massive big bore shocks on the front. Of course these are oil filled and adjustable, and you've also got the plastic caps up on top for protection. Yeah, the suspension on this feels really good. Yeah, I love that. So just like the Kagama, you've got the center brace. Now of course this does have the same pillow ball suspension, and of course the same high quality CVDs on the front and thick dog bones on the rear. Down here we have the battery tray, and this will easily house high capacity packs. I have taken out the little spacer to allow me to fit a longer pack, and that's really simple to do. It's just a couple of screws. Team G.O.A.T. always seem to get it spot on when it comes to their tyre choice. Now this being a 6S truck, I'll be very interested to see how these perform, especially on road. So this thing has the same ready-to-run electronics that you see on the other 6S trucks, and that includes the G.O.A.T 825 motor, which is 2050 kV, and of course 4 to 6S capable. Then you've got the Torox 185 ESC, which is 150 amp, it's 2 to 6S capable, and of course it can be programmed as well. And then finally we've got the standard 25 kilogram steering servo. Now when you get this out the box, the ESC will actually have 2 XT90 connectors fitted. As you can see here, I've gone down to 1, and that's just because I prefer running a single pack compared to running 2 packs. I also think it looks a little bit cleaner and more tidy. Now if you do want to use 1 pack and you don't want to be cutting the wires or doing any soldering, you can use this, which is included in the box. This will allow you to use a single pack without having to change anything else. There's probably no reason to go into too much detail when it comes to all the other components like the diffs and everything else, because essentially everything's exactly the same as the other 6S trucks out there. But look, if you do want to know all the technical spec, I will leave a link down below so you can head over to the Team G.O.A.T. website. All of the details will be on their website. In the box here we have the transmitter. Now of course we've seen this before. These are actually quite nice for a ready to run transmitter. It's the CT2R. It's definitely one of the better ready to run transmitters that I've tried over the years. Now of course this does have the usual adjustments like steering trim, throttle trim and steering dual rate. It does feature a nice foam grip on the wheel. Now this does come with a bunch of instruction manuals, including one for the truck, one for the ESC and one for the transmitter. Now Team Corelli manuals are always very good. There's always lots of technical stuff in there as well, so they're definitely worth checking out. Here we have an accessory bag and it looks like we've got a speed pinion, an antenna tube, and it looks like we've also got a bind plug for the receiver. They also include a lanyard in the box, or a transmitter and key strap. So the plan is to see how fast this goes on 4S and of course 6S, and then I want to get it out in the dirt and see how it performs. And I'm going to go to one of my favourite locations, which I think is going to be perfect for this truck. So let's do it. Let's head out, and first up, let's see how fast it goes. Right, so let's see how fast this goes on 4S then, right out the box. How impressive does this truck look in the sun? So let's hit start on the GPS. Right, so let's see how fast the Shiroi will go right out the box on 4S. Yeah, it feels quick. It's very stable. It's full throttle. This thing is going to be insane on 6S. I'm going to have to put the camera on a tripod, I think, because it's going to get a little bit scary on 6S. Right, let's see what we got. Very cool. So let's hit read. So 35 miles per hour right out the box on 4S. So let's go for 6S. Now I've put the camera on a tripod. I think that was the best option. Whoa! This thing has some power, but how is it going to handle that power? Well, let's find out. Just making sure the road is clear. Let's go! Whoa! So yeah, the tyres do expand a little bit. Whoa! Oh no! Hopefully we caught that crash on camera. The truck's okay, the GPS is fine, so let's go again. This thing is mental on 6S. I really don't think there's any need for that speed pinion. Yeah, it gets a little bit twitchy once you start hitting full throttle. Now I actually think 4S geared up a little bit would be perfect on this. Yeah, it just becomes a bit of a handful once you get up to full throttle on 6S. I mean, I struggled there to even hit full throttle. This thing is just too mental. I really can't see why you'd want to fit the speed pinion. Oh no! It's too mental on 6S. This thing is mental on 6S out the box. I really don't think you'll be needing that speed pinion. If you want to go any faster, you buy an on-road car. Now this thing managed to achieve 54 miles per hour out the box. That is insane for a short course truck. So here we are at one of my favourite locations. Perfect to test out the Shiroi. Now I am running the truck on 6S and it has some power. This thing is crazy. Just look at the dust cloud it's created. So far then, this thing handles like a dream. Looks absolutely mental. Is 6S too much? Probably, but who cares because it's super cool. So Team Corelli have done a fantastic job with this. Not only does it look good, but it handles well. Has a huge amount of power out the box. This thing so far has ticked a lot of boxes for me. On 6S, it is just crazy. Oh, I just sprayed a load of dust in my mouth. Oh no! This thing is an absolute animal. Yep, I love it already. I love it already. So there we go then guys, brand new from Team Corelli, their 6S Shiroi. So this truck seems to tick a lot of boxes. Let's talk about looks first of all. Well, we know it looks fantastic and I actually think it's one of the best looking short course trucks on the market. Does it tick the speed box? Well, yes it does, but arguably a little bit too crazy on 6S right out the box. And I do think running this on 4S with a slightly bigger pinion is going to be the way forward. But if you want to run it on 6S, that's absolutely fine. Just be prepared because it's insanely quick on 6S. So what about durability then? Can we tick that box? Well, yes, I think we can. I didn't go too easy on it today, and I know we're not at a skate park, but this is a place where most people would run their trucks. 95% of people would come to a place like this where I tested this today. So what about the price then? Is it worth the money? Well, look, you're paying for a high quality, well-engineered product. This isn't something from Banggood. You know, you can't compare this to a Banggood Special, for example. This is a top-end RC car, and I think it's priced appropriately. The final thing I look for on a brand new RC truck is the fun factor. This thing has definitely put a smile on my face today, and you would have seen it there in the footage. It's incredibly fun. It just kicks up a load of dirt. Very, very, very fun truck to drive. Once again, like I said, Team Corelli, you have done a very good job with this. Now, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Recently, I was checking my analytics and a huge amount of people watch me on a daily basis, but you don't actually subscribe. Growing the channel is massively important to me because this is what I want to be doing as a full-time job, and I need you guys to help me make that happen. Right, I've still got some battery left. I'm going to give this thing another rip.